Hello and welcome to the Critically Coolest. I'm the Monk and today I'm here on Wasteland 3 doing another build guide. Now this is an advanced build guide for a heavy gun. This is the machine gun build that I'm going to be doing for you guys, and it's actually going to be an explosive expert too. I feel like these two things go hand in hand. They go really well together. For the background I have got Explode Maniac. Packs a bigger punch, why not? You get a 15% damage buff on all explosive with this, so I think it's actually a really good one to have. There are a few different ways that this build can actually be set up, but like I said, for this one, we're going to go explosives, and we're going to take that extra damage buff for there anyway. Moving on to the attributes, this is how I'd set up my level 1 character. On Supreme Jerk difficulty, this is exactly what I'd be using from level 1, from the get-go, from the opening prologue, and it should set you right really well. Obviously, Supreme Jerk can be a pain in the ass, but this build will work for you. And I'm going to show you what I would do if I was actually leveling them up as I would level him up. So intelligence is going to be really important. The reason intelligence is going to be important is because we're looking for that critical hit chance. That critical hit chance in this game is so important, especially late game. And then obviously we're going to need to be finally thinking about some health, because without health we can't do anything. We're really not going to be lasting very long. And then awareness, because as we all know, heavy machine guns, they do not like to hit. They like to miss a lot more than they like to hit, and so that isn't going to be solved unless we put awareness up. After that, we're going to be maximizing our strength, or maxing out our strength, for that massive 75 extra health. And then we've got a couple of things we could do. We could put on more speed, or max our intelligence and get that extra crit hit. So that's what I've done. I've put on, and we have got the 25% critical chance, which is really important to have, especially late game, especially on Supreme Jerk difficulty. We have gone for 10 in big guns. Please remember, guys, don't actually max any stat out yourself. There are skill books out there that will do it for you. It really helps. Save yourself like 6 skill points. I've put 1 on Animal Whisperer, and again, we have maxed our explosives. It's really the perks that we're looking for here. But the best thing about maxing explosives is that it gives us explosive damage bonus. We have got 1 point on first aid. This is so we can use the med packs. And then we have got 3 points in mechanics for the extra damage buff that we're going to receive against vehicles, robots, and synths. So these last few points, we could do one or two things. You could use him for your utilities if you need someone to do something in particular, or you could put it on survival for that buff against animals and mutants, or we could put it in weird science, depending on what guns you actually have available to you. Now, I know what gun I'm going to be using, which is why I haven't put on the weird science, but if you don't have this gun, then weird science really could be a good alternative for you. For the quirks, we are going to go with Pyromaniac. Now, Pyromaniac, we have a 15% chance to set on fire when using explosives. We are going to be using explosives, so this is a real danger for us. But we do get a massive 25% bonus to fire and explosive damage. It's going to pay off. It's worth it in the long run. And who's scared of a little bit of fire, eh? Anyway, the setup, this is how I would have him looking. So first of all, we have got the Nidhogg. I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce it. That's how I'm pronouncing it right now. But basically, this baby does explosive damage. Because it does explosive damage, it means that its damage output is being buffed by our explosive level, and therefore it's doing more damage for us than it would be for other people or other builds. It goes really well together. It does cost a massive 7 AP. There are other heavy machine guns that only cost 6 AP. With a quick mag, you could get it down, but they are very rare in this game. I don't know if I'd waste it on this build myself, but this is the gun that I would use. I really think it works really well, and of course, I'm going to be pairing it up with the Nukazuka, because why wouldn't you on an explosive build? Now, Obviously, we don't have a million tactical nukes, or if you do have a million tactical nukes, please tell me in the comments where you're getting them from, because I would like half of them. But you could also use something like the javelin that does do an incredible amount of damage as well. And of course, rockets are pretty good in the game. You can get them. They're a little bit expensive, but we can get them. We've got the frag grenade, because remember, this explosive damage does actually boost our grenades as well, so don't neglect them. They usually cost less than actually firing a heavy machine gun or our rockets anyway. We have got power armor, legs, and chest for the extra armor that they provide, and then we've got the Spectrum Assault Helmet. Now, the Spectrum Assault Helmet gives us a 12% critical hit chance buff, which is really good. I mean, you really can't argue with it. And then we've got the Rabbit Foot, which gives us 3%, so that bumps us up to 15%. If you don't have the Commandant's helmet, that's also something you could possibly put on this build. Of course, everyone can't wear it, which is why I'm trying to give options. Over to the perks. Now, again, these perks really do depend on whether you got survival or whether you got the weird science, but I'm going to show you what I would do if I didn't get either of them, and we'll leave those ones to the end so that way you guys can actually decide for yourselves. Now, this is actually a pretty good build all round, really. It's going to do you in all situations. I really like it. It's something that's worked well. But don't forget that all of this is open to debate. It can be changed and it can fit your build. So don't be afraid to tinker with it and let me know your thoughts. The first perk we're going to have is Healthy. That is for a massive 35 extra health. Health is so important in this game. It's just very little reason never not to take this perk, in my opinion. Moving on to big guns. Now, there's a few here that we're actually going to be looking at getting. The first up, obviously, is Move Up. You gain a 0.5 combat speed on your first turn of combat while using big guns. Now, we're using nothing but big guns, so it's going to work for us well. Second one is Suppressing Fire. Now, a heavy machine gun attack that consumes twice as many bullets. Enemies in that area take minor damage and are suppressed. They lose combat speed and they lose hit chance for 2 turns, which is really good. Now, the other thing is that we're going to be hitting crits on this, so there's a good chance it's doing a lot more than just minor damage. Next one we're going to be getting is Steady Shot. You gain a massive 20% evasion and 10% hit chance in low cover when using a heavy machine gun. Now, there's lots of different covers in the map, so you're going to be able to use this really easy. Just remember about it, be mindful of it, and use it. Widespread, increase your firing arc of a heavy machine gun and flamethrower by a massive 35%. This is huge. Definitely use it. It's something to obviously definitely use. But please remember that on higher difficulties, you are going to be looking at friendly fire. So make sure that he is front and center. On explosives, we are looking at Duck and Cover. This is for the 20% fire resistance and explosive resistance. We're going to be set on fire a lot with this build, or possibly a lot throughout the entire game, especially if you get this early. Something to look at. It's worth getting. Mortar Blast. Target an area with your rocket launcher. It fires up into the air. The rocket falls down, bombarding the area below for 100% damage for 1 turn later. It's really good. Definitely use it. Try not to forget you've actually got these perks. That's another thing. People forget they've even got these perks. They forget to look, see what is available to them, and don't use it. High Impact. Targets directly hit by the rocket or grenade are automatically critical hits. This is massive, definitely do it. It's a passive ability, so you don't actually have to think about it. Radius of grenades and other area of effect abilities are increased by 40% with blast radius. Again, it's another passive ability. It's worth getting. After that, we're going to get Structural Weakness. You get a bonus of 20% to all robots and vehicles. And with our very last perk, you have got a decision. Now, you don't have to have had Healthy either. It really does depend on what you get. If you got Survival, get Big Game Hunter. If you got Weird Science and you're using one of the Weird Science weapons, there are some very good perks there too. You may want those 2 perk points for them. Like I said, it is up to you. It depends how you've tweaked this build. But just this basic build that I've set up, the way I've set it up, it will work for you. It will work really well. If you've done something different with this build, or if you think something is wrong that I've done, please let me know in the comments, because I love hearing back from you guys. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, maybe think about doing that too, because we're still chasing the big 1,000, and every subscriber counts so massively and is really appreciated. Anyway, I've been a Monk, we've been in Critically Clueless, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you've enjoyed.